Can I refill your eggnog for you, Liz? Get you something to eat? Drive you out to the middle of nowhere, leave you for dead?
Find out next on Junk Feud.
Oh, yeah, welcome to Junk Feud, the podcast about junk food, where we rate and review mystery treats to determine which one will be the undisputed champion of snacks. I'm your host, Mike. Alongside me, as always, Alyssa.
Hey, Dad.
Hey, Liz.
So, what's red, white, and blue all over?
What's red, white, and blue all over? The American flag?
No.
No.
A sad candy cane.
Sad. Sad candy cane. Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
I like that one.
Yeah.
You know what else I like?
What?
This show.
Why do you say it like that?
Liz, welcome back once again to the world's yeetest podcast.
Very mid, giving him the X super bus and hitting him with the Riz each and every. I think we need to get rid of one of those.
Liz, I think we need to keep them all in and add more.
Oh.
And in fact, I think we're going to add another one today.
Oh, no.
Foreshadowing. Alyssa.
Yes.
Ho, ho, whoa.
Merry Snaxmas.
Happy Chowlidays.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Yes, this is it. Alyssa, this is our Christmas episode.
Yes.
This is it. This is the big one. Ha ha.
Ha ha ha.
Liz,
Ha 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 ha.
that was such a fake laugh. You are trying so hard to feign enthusiasm today, and it's not working at all. You were very upset that I peeled you away from the television to do the show today because you were playing, what's that game the kids play? Fork Knife?
Fortnite.
Fart Night? Fortnite.
I got a victory royale just before this.
You
By myself in solos.
You got a solo victory royale, which is not a sentence that I recognize as English.
I remember last year when fidgets and stuff were popular.
Last year, Liz, that was 10 years ago.
Oh. Well, anyway, when they were popular, it was my Christmas list was Globbles, Pop It, Dimples. And then when my mom sent my list to Aunt Evie, she said, "Is this in a different language?" I was like, "What? No. What do you mean?"
Liz, we
What?
use an online form at work to fill out our timesheets, if you can believe that. And there are so many acronyms on the form that when you access the app through a web browser, Google Translate thinks that it's in Portuguese.
Oh.
Yeah, it's wild.
That's weird.
Alyssa, we've had a really great Christmas season this year. The holidays have been wonderful, as they always are, and as we always do, we had a great one. But for whatever reason, Liz, this one has felt extra special. I don't know why.
I feel like you're right.
I feel like I'm right,
I feel
too.
like the snow is missing though.
We did have one day of snow so far.
And it was literally flurries.
It was very funny. They were very brief, but very intense flurries. Nothing laid on the ground, nothing stuck. A guy at work today was telling me, Liz, he walked out of the office, looked out the window, saw the flurries, got so excited, ran back into the office and told everybody, "It's snowing outside, come and look." And by the time they went outside, the flurries had completely stopped. The sun was out. It was a bright and beautiful day, and they all thought he was nuts.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
It is unfortunate, isn't it? You know what's not unfortunate, Liz?
Me going downstairs and winning another victory royale.
Yeah, I bet. Hey, we discovered some new Christmas music this year.
Oh, we did?
Yeah, you know that playlist I was listening to in the car? I've been listening to the lo-fi hip-hop Christmas playlist on Apple Music.
Oh, yeah.
It's super chill background music. I like that a lot. Have you ever seen that YouTube channel, Lo-Fi Hip-Hop Beats to Study To? And there's an animated painting of a girl sitting at a desk and she has headphones on and she's studying. There's a cat that every now and then wanders into frame and there's some leaves blowing outside the window. It's very, very relaxing.
No.
No, you've never seen that? Oh, it's super popular. You
Was
have to
it
check
some
that out.
anime girl?
I don't know. What would you consider an anime girl?
Like an anime drawing girl.
Oh, no, I don't think so. If you just look up lo-fi hip hop girl, you'll see the animation. Liz,
What?
we saw some new Christmas movies this year.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, your mom
My favorite movies.
suckered me into watching the Hallmark Christmas Channel for hours at a time.
I love Hallmark. I think it's good.
But she loves it too. And I gotta say, I watched a lot of those Hallmark movies. I was doing laundry, so I was popping in and out. And every time I came back in, the scene looked exactly the same, but with slightly different actors. And she told me it was like over the course of the day, 4 or 5 different movies, but I couldn't tell the difference. They all were very bad. I didn't like them at all. But they were sort of relaxing in a strange way, sort of in the same way that the lo-fi hip-hop Christmas playlist
like those Netflix original movies are.
Yeah, where they're like, nothing is of consequences actually happening. They're sort of like white noise background.
I watched this one that I remember, and it was like a Christmas cat or something like that.
A Christmas cat.
And it was just this cat, like this couple didn't want to keep the cat anymore, and then the man fell in love with this worker that loved animals and
Naturally.
like that kind of thing, of course.
Yeah.
I think that was a big one too.
You're gonna look this one up. It was a big one, huh?
Yes.
Liz, my experience with these movies has been that the plot of them is mostly the same, which is like a career-minded young woman who's very, very attractive, but also somehow very single and lonely, comes back to a town that she used to live in, and reunites with a guy that's there that she was not interested in before, but now is like a rugged outdoorsman of some type who's also into the arts. And then they have sort of like a will they, won't they thing, and her parents are always like, oh, he's such a nice boy. And then by some conflict of absolute circumstance, they have a minor quarrel, and then they end up making up at the end of the movie and getting together. Does that sound about right?
Yeah.
Except in this one that you saw, there was also a cat involved.
Yeah, why can't I find my Christmas cat? Oh, cat. No, that's not what we're looking for. This one.
The 9 Lives of Christmas. Okay, so I did also see some of that with Mom.
Yes.
And I only watched this one because the lead actor in this film, Alyssa, is a guy named Brandon Routh. Do you know who Brandon Routh is?
That dude.
Yeah, he's Superman, Liz.
That's what it was.
Brandon Routh played Superman in Superman. What was the name of the Bryan Singer movie? I can't even remember. Superman Returns or something like that. Yeah, that one has not aged terribly well, that film. But I did like Brandon Routh as Superman. I did like his portrayal. So yeah, Superman Returns from 2006. I was right. He was also, Alyssa, the bass player, the evil bass player, one of the evil X's in Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, your favorite movie when you were like 6 years old.
Yeah.
That's right. He was awesome. He was the vegan who was eating gelato on the side.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that? Gelato's not vegan. That's right. And then Scott Pilgrim uppercutted him into the stratosphere. It was awesome.
Wait, Dad.
Yes, dear.
Can we go to Target later?
What? Why?
I need to get stuff from my gym bag.
What? What does this have to do with a Christmas cat?
Because we are in the Christmas season.
Uh-huh.
And during the Christmas season, I have gym class. And my bag is red.
That was like A+ level effort to try to put into a segue there. That was segment switcher upper territory, Alyssa.
Yes.
Hey, speaking of segment switcher uppers.
Can we go to Target?
I don't know. We'll see. We did some other holiday things that we like to do too. We went downtown and did the holiday happenings. That was fun.
Yes.
That's in our second year. Your friend Ella, shout out to Ella, friend of the show, has called this family tradition.
Last year we went to this like restaurant in town, like nearby, and me and Ella got mac and cheese, and we both got food poisoning from it.
Oh no!
You don't remember?
I remember going to the restaurant. I don't remember the food poisoning part. I do remember that we went out onto the porch of the restaurant because Santa Claus rode down the street on the back of a tractor because that's the type of place that we live in.
Well, yeah. So that night, I gotta have a hiccup. That night, I threw up like 3 times.
Gross.
Yeah.
So, Liz, you threw up last year. You remember it.
I have not thrown up since last year.
Congratulations to you. That's pretty good.
Oh, wait. Actually, never mind.
Not true?
No.
Not even close. So last year, obviously, getting food poisoning from macaroni and cheese and vomiting was your favorite part of the holiday season. What would you say your favorite thing we did this holiday season was so far?
Getting my Vineyard Vines pants.
Yeah, that's you were very excited about this. You found at a local thrift shop for $5? $8 a pair of very nice Vineyard Vines Christmas pajamas, Alyssa. And they had like a whale and a Santa Claus hat on them, as they do, of course. So my guess, of course, now is that you're going to wear them when we go on our next Christmas adventure, which is, what's
Florida.
that? Yeah, we're going to go to Florida to visit Grandma and Grandpa and Uncle Pat. That's always a blast. Alyssa, there is something very odd.
Yeah?
As you hiccup away over here. So there's something very odd, I think, and yet sort of compelling, actually, about being in a tropical place at the holidays. Is it weird for you that the weather is warm when it should be cold?
A little bit.
Yeah.
I think it's just the fact that our town gets so cold.
Sure.
Like we have all the seasons year round.
That's right.
And it gets a little weird when it's like not snowing every single day.
Yeah, you have never lived anywhere but the Northeast, so you're very used to the winter season being frigid.
But, like, we've been to Florida in December and, like, November and that type deal. So I guess I'm, used to it because it doesn't seem that much different anymore.
You're getting acclimated, that's right. So here's the thing that's still weird for me. There are Christmas trees in Florida at Christmas time.
And they all do a good job with decorating, so it makes you feel good.
That's true. They put in the effort. That's right. Here's the thing about Christmas trees in Florida at Christmas time. Alyssa, sometimes they are palm trees.
Yeah.
Which I have a love-hate relationship with.
I don't mind palm trees, except in the Christmas time.
Yeah, it's very strange to look at a palm tree that's decorated for Christmas, that has like lights and ornaments on it. It always reminds me of that Corona beer commercial where there's somebody at a beach, they're whistling "Oh Christmas Tree," and then there's like a lone palm tree on the horizon and it lights up. And it's a nice commercial, I guess. I mean, what do you like about Christmas in the tropics, Liz? What do you like about Christmas in Florida specifically?
Obviously the warm weather.
Obviously.
It's good to get away from the cold.
That's right.
Okay, so I like how we don't go exactly on Christmas.
Uh-huh.
Because then I still get to stay home for Christmas.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just like everything. Everything's fine there. It's no big deal.
Well, you like everything about Christmas, period.
And Florida,
no matter where you are, and also going to visit your grandparents.
And I like getting ice cream there too.
Yeah, that's true. We are obviously, Alyssa. We do a show about snacks and junk food. We are ice cream junkies for sure.
Yeah.
And we have a circuit of all the different ice cream places that we hit when we go down there, don't we?
Yeah.
Do you remember what they all are?
No.
Well,
Ben and Jerry's.
There's no Ben and Jerry's.
Dairy Queen.
There's Dairy Queen. Yeah. Culver's.
Oh, Culver's also.
Kilwins.
Oh, yeah.
Bob's. And there used to be an Orange Grove that had a Dole Whip machine. Do you remember that? Yeah, well, they're closed now, but that was pretty good when we were down there. Liz, here's the thing. You mentioned this earlier. It is still warm down in Florida, even at Christmas time. It is hot there. I always want a cold beverage when I'm down there. We were just singing the G Love and Special Sauce song, Cold Beverages, just before the show.
Yeah.
Well, I was singing it, and you were grumbling as I was making you watch the video on YouTube. You and I both know, Alyssa, because we've done it on this show, there is almost nothing that is as refreshing as an ice-cold Coca-Cola in a glass bottle when you have just come in from the heat.
Yeah.
But, Alyssa, at Christmas time, usually I want something that's a little bit more traditional.
Like hot cocoa?
Well, I mean,
it's like the opposite of Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, usually I want something a little bit chilly, Alyssa. And hey.
Like ice cream cone.
Well, yeah, hold that thought because that reminds me of this week's snack up next on Junk Feud.
It's eggnog.
It's eggnog. Everyone's favorite.
Ugh. I've got a little boo-boo face for this one.
You've got boo-boo face for eggnog?
Yeah.
Your mom did too. We'll talk about that in a moment. Liz, what is eggnog?
I just have a question.
Uh-huh.
Why would they make a spiced milk?
Spiced milk?
Like, what were they thinking? It's literally like chili powder and milk.
It's not chili powder.
And cinnamon. There's
no cinnamon.
Cinnamon and icky.
There's no chili powder or cinnamon in eggnog.
Okay,
Alyssa.
Well, why would they make a spiced milk?
Do you want to find out what eggnog is and why they made a spiced milk and who they are?
Well, they could have just put milk.
Well, yeah, I mean,
cream and sugar, just without the seasoning.
That's kind of how it started. Liz, eggnog is a variety of a thing called a milk punch, sort of, which is a rich, chilled, sweetened, dairy-based beverage. Eggnog specifically traditionally made with milk, cream, sugar, egg yolks, and then whipped egg whites. So yes, first off the bat, let's address this right up front. It does actually contain eggs. There are eggs in eggnog.
Whoa.
Yeah, revelation, right?
Revelation, yeah.
Now here's the thing that we're not going to get into today, but that most people recognize from eggnog at the holidays, and that is that it sometimes contains alcoholic distilled spirits, Alyssa.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like brandy, rum, whiskey, or bourbon or something like that.
Bourbon? Isn't that really expensive?
Well, it can be, sure. Bourbon is a type of whiskey, yes.
Oh.
Alyssa.
What?
You were saying about ice cream just a moment ago. Alton Brown, the patron saint of molecular gastronomy, more or less, has said that based on the ingredients, eggnog is basically just melted ice cream.
That's spicy.
Well, milk, cream, eggs, sugar.
It's spicy.
Those are the ingredients in a custard that is then churned and frozen and turned into ice cream. So really, eggnog is just the custard base for ice cream. It's not it's not hot and spicy.
It is.
When was the last time you had eggnog?
At Ella's house.
Did they give you the eggnog with the whiskey in it by accident?
No, it was spicy.
All right. Well, Liz, here's a bit of a theme that we have on this show. Just like all the best snacks that we talk about on the program, the history of eggnog is, Alyssa, up for debate.
Really?
Yeah, and that makes sense in context, I think, because eggnog itself, as you are alluding to right now, is a very polarizing drink.
Really?
Yeah, most people either love it or hate it.
Well, guess I'm a part of that bunch.
Well, we don't know that yet. We're going to try it today and find out.
Well,
although your boo-boo face...
I tried. It was spicy.
Your boo-boo face is showing through right now, Alyssa, for sure. Here's the thing. There was a 2011 poll that showed that 44% of people polled liked eggnog, 34% didn't, and the rest had either never had it or had no opinion on the matter. And that tracks with a lot of other studies and polls that I researched in putting together the notes for this show. So it's mostly a toss-up. It's like half and half. You either really like it or you really don't. Here's the thing that's not terribly controversial is the purported origins of eggnog. Here's who they are and why they made, in your words, Alyssa, spiced milk.
Spicy.
So the they are the medieval Brits.
The Brit Brats.
No, just the Brit Brats. No, the regular British people. Eggnog is probably derived from a medieval British drink, Alyssa, that was called posset. Do you know what posset is?
Posset?
Yeah.
Pass the posset?
Yeah, that's how it's pronounced. I had to go to that site where you showed me where you get pronunciations of words. Yeah.
I have to use that a lot.
Posset, that's right. I was once told when I was younger, never make fun of someone who mispronounces a word because that means they probably learned it by reading, which is admirable.
True.
That's right. So posset was milk that was curdled by adding ale or wine to it. So it was alcoholic milk, essentially.
Ew.
Yeah, that sounds gross too. There is some evidence, Alyssa, that by the 13th century, some British monks had started adding... Monks, yeah,
Aren't
that's right.
the monks the people that pray like all day and leave dents in the floor?
Well, yeah, I guess. I hadn't heard about the dents in the floor thing. What's that from?
Apparently for like how long they're praying, and since they don't move, they leave dents.
Wow, where did you hear this?
Alex, Adelia, and Brooke.
Shout out to Alex, Adelia, and Brooke, who know all about monks leaving dents in the floor.
Wait, now I want to look it up.
Well, Liz, here's another thing that monks did. They would start adding eggs and figs in the 13th century to their posset, which would create a creamy, more flavorful mixture. So around that time, adding things like milk and eggs and wine to foods was mostly something that could only be afforded by royalty or the landed gentry. So a posset was, Alyssa, something that was mostly drunk by rich people and used for toasts or special occasions. So it was a very fancy drink.
Oh, that's what I meant. Their feet, not their butt.
Oh, I see. You're okay. You're showing me a photo of some imprints of bare feet into wooden planks.
Oh, those feet are crusty.
From Buddhist monks.
I can give them a pedicure.
Very nice, Alyssa. Thank you for that. This has been Alyssa's History Corner.
So, if you decide to become a monk, pray on carpets.
Yeah, there you go. Some words of wisdom from a 13-year-old non-monk for all of you devoted out there.
Just in case you were wondering.
Yeah, so Liz, like we were saying, 13th century, mostly a posset or something like a posset with eggs mixed into it or figs mixed into it was...
What's a fig?
A fig is a small fruit. Like, a fig Newton? We're going to do fig Newtons on this show.
Oh, I had those at lunch.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
they were
spoiler
okay.
for later. What'd you think of them? They were okay.
They were, like, weird.
Do you think they should put that on the box for fig Newtons? Like as the pull quote for it? They were okay. Buy fig Newtons. They're okay. No. So it's like we were saying, by the 1700s, the drink starts to make its way across the pond to the American colonies. And a lot more people start drinking things like posset because...
Posset?
Yeah, everybody over here has milk and eggs. Dairy and eggs are much more plentiful. There are chickens and cows kind of roaming around all over the place. And you know what else there was, Liz?
What?
Lots of sugar and therefore lots of rum, because there was lots of sugar available from the Caribbean islands, and also therefore lots of rum, which is a distilled spirit made from sugar and sugar cane that was coming up from the islands, from the Caribbean Sea. So the drink has a bit of resurgence in the American colonies in the 1700s. And it was around that time also that the drink came to be associated, Alyssa, with the holiday season. Yeah, that's right. That's why we're doing it for our Christmas show. Well, that's one reason. There's another one coming up too.
I know what the other reason is.
That's right. Mostly this tradition, Alyssa, of using the drink to toast to health and other types of celebrations is why we think that it's associated with the holidays. So everybody's got it. It's a thing that you bust out when you are having a good time and you want to make a toast. And the holidays are times that you want to have a good time and make a toast. Here's the other thing it was used for, Alyssa. It was used in hospitals as a prevention and a curative for gripe, Alyssa, the flu.
Gripe?
Yeah, the flu, a common winter ailment, obviously.
Ailment. That's my favorite word.
Your favorite word is ailment?
Yes.
Because you have many?
Boy.
So, Liz, the National Institutes of Health even has some documentary evidence on the dispensation of something like eggnog to children during the 1700s. Even, Alyssa, George Washington himself, our founding father, the first president, had a family recipe, allegedly, that he served to visitors at his Mount Vernon estate. And his version, Alyssa, was just absolutely stacked with alcohol and sugar. It had Jamaican rum, sherry, brandy, and whiskey, all of those in the drink. Now, here's the thing. I watched a video.
Lucrece can't tell sherry from Amontillado.
Wow. How about that? What do you know about sherry and Amontillado?
All I know is that we read about it in the Tale of Amontillado.
The Cask of Amontillado, that's right. Very good. Wow, I'm learning a lot from you today, Liz.
Do you want to know a quick history fact?
A quick history fact. Yes, please.
The Battle of Bunker Hill wasn't actually on Bunker Hill.
Wow.
I know. It was on Breeds Hill.
I didn't know that, actually.
Really?
Really. I had no idea.
Oh.
Here's also something I didn't know, but I learned by watching a YouTube show called Tasting History with Max Miller, where he talked about eggnog, and in particular, he made a version of George Washington's eggnog recipe. Now,
that alcoholic?
Yeah, that alcoholic. And he had like one sip and was like, whoa, that's even too much for me. The story of the creation of George Washington's recipe may have been apocryphal. The archivists at Mount Vernon cannot find any written evidence that this was actually George Washington's recipe and that he actually had it at Mount Vernon. The first time it shows up is in a cookbook from the 1900s claiming that it was a Mount Vernon recipe that George Washington served, but nobody can actually find any evidence of that. So it is fairly likely that this is something that he would have had, but we can't find any direct evidence of it.
Well, wasn't he like an alcoholic?
George Washington?
Yeah.
You know what? It's tough to tell because by today's standards, most people in the 1700s probably drank a fair bit more alcohol than we drink today. And mostly that was due to availability and unavailability of water, because water was slightly more dangerous to drink then than it is now. I was actually just reading about this not too long ago.
Then why are all of their battles and fights having to do with crossing a water substance?
Oh, you mean like crossing a river or something like that? Well, that's that's funny. That's more associated with just military tactics and relevance. So like you need water and you need to be near water, and it's difficult to cross water historically. So that's where a lot of battles take place. That's where people are, and that's where they fight. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Here's something else that makes sense, Liz. We did find the first evidence of the word eggnog itself in writing, which comes from a poem, actually, Alyssa, from a Maryland philologist named Jonathan Boucher.
Boucher? Where have I heard that? Bobby Boucher.
Bobby Boucher, that's right. Jonathan Boucher, the philologist from Maryland, was actually George Washington's friend. And in 1775, Alyssa, he wrote a poem, and he called out specifically in the poem eggnog.
Wait, is he French?
I don't think we have any knowledge of the provenance of his last name. He was most likely English, but we don't know how his name was pronounced. So I'm saying Boucher, but it might have been Boucher.
Butcher.
Yeah, maybe. Liz, what else was going on in 1775?
The first year of the American Revolution was shots fired at Lexington and Concord the day after Paul Revere's ride. We literally just learned about this.
Yeah, that's right. Shout out to the Beastie Boys.
And Patrick Henry famously said, "Give me liberty or give me death."
That's right. Give me mashed potatoes or give me death. What was that from? I don't remember.
Give
Maybe an
me
episode
mashed
of the...
potatoes or I'll give
go on.
green beans. Mozart composed a sonata for keyboard and C. Pirates destroyed a British East India Company factory on Balambahan Island.
I only put that in there because I wanted to hear you say that word.
Balambahan. Catherine and the Great divided the Russian company factory. Oh, wait, I did that wrong.
Yeah, you have to actually read the words that are there and the punctuation.
The Great... Oh my gosh, the Great divided.
No, Catherine the Great. Her name is Catherine the Great.
Catherine the Great divided the Russian Empire. The city of Tuscan was founded.
Tucson, dear.
Tucson. Johann Baptist Malfatti von Monteregio. Stop.
Johann Baptiste Malfatti von Monteregio.
Well, he was born.
Yeah, he was Beethoven's doctor.
What?
Yeah.
And Samuel of Constantinople died. It's now Istanbul, not Constantinople.
Very good. In that segment, Alyssa, I tried to put all the most difficult words that I possibly could in there for you to read. Did it work?
Take me back to Constantinople. No, we can't go back to Constantinople.
That's right. I did find a bunch of t-shirts that say "Give me mashed potatoes" or "Give me death" on them. I don't know why. I don't know what the reference is from.
Give me mashed potatoes or give me death.
I feel like it's... Oh, here it is.
Goonies.
No, it's from a it's from a Far Side cartoon. That's right.
What's Far Side?
The Far Side was a comic strip in the newspapers that was, when I was a kid, that was like collected into these large anthologies, and they're just like funny little cartoons. And in this one, Patrick Henry is standing up in his log cabin and his wife is scolding him. And she says, "For crying out loud, Patrick, sit down and enough with the give me mashed potatoes or give me death nonsense." And so, of course, there are lots. You can buy t-shirts online that say, "Give me mashed potatoes or give me death." That's very funny.
Give me liberty or give me...
Mashed potatoes?
Death.
Eggnog.
Give me eggnog or give me a candy cane.
Wow, very good. That should be a t-shirt too. Yeah. So, Liz, we said the first use of the word eggnog in writing was in 1775 in that poem by Boucher, but that was handwritten. So the first time we see the word eggnog in print is in 1788 in the New Jersey Journal, Liz.
Wow.
Shout out to the Garden State. And by 1796, it was on the menu at the City Tavern in Philadelphia, which we've also mentioned on this show before. So
that was a long time ago.
Yeah, it was. But almost by 1800s, you can get eggnog like at a tavern, at a bar. And here's the thing. Before we saw it written down, the etymology list, the way we got to the word eggnog, is a little bit fuzzy or foggy. There's some competing theories here. There's one that holds that the word was simply a portmanteau of the word egg, which is an ingredient in the drink, obviously, and nog, which at the time was a slang for a strong ale.
Oh.
Yeah, now that is probably the simplest explanation. I think it makes a lot of sense. However, there was another use for the word nog, Alyssa, which was as a nickname for noggins. Do you know what a noggin is?
Isn't that your head?
Yeah, it is your head. But before it was your head, it was a small wooden mug that was used to drink alcohol. So it could have come from that too.
Because you always tell me use your noggin.
That's right, I sure do. Liz, it may or may not have also come from a Scottish term, which is nug, which was short for a nugged ale, which was wine that you would warm up by submerging a hot fire poker into it.
Oh.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So it could have been egg nugged, although I don't know how that would have worked out. It also might have been a shortened version of the term egg and grog, which would have been combining eggs, obviously, again, an ingredient, and grog, which was another word for rum or another thick, strong alcoholic beverage. Now, there's no actual evidence for the egg and grog etymology, but that's one that gets bandied around a lot because it seems like it might make sense, although there is no evidence in writing or print of those words ever being together. So it's a bit dubious at this point.
Right.
Liz, speaking of strong drinks, because we just said grog was a strong drink, possibly the most famous story about eggnog is the tale of the West Point Eggnog Riot of 1826.
Wait,
what a sentence.
West Point, isn't that a college?
Yes, West Point is the U.S. Army's military academy. excuse me.
Were you there?
Academy in New York. I've been there. I did not go to West Point. So listen, it's 1826. It's Christmas time. And West Point has a relatively new superintendent of students. His name is Colonel Sylvanus Thayer.
I'm going to try to say it.
Go ahead.
Wait, Colonel?
That's how you say that word.
That looks like colonel.
I sure does. And in fact, in second grade, when someone made me read out loud, I mispronounced that word, and I said colonel in class because I had never seen it before, and I was corrected and told that is the word colonel, as in the military rank. But yes, it does not look like colonel. It looks like colonel.
Colonel Sylvanus Thayer.
Very good. Colonel Sylvanus Thayer. Colonel Thayer did the unthinkable at West Point. He outlawed alcohol on campus.
That's so mean.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. The West Point cadets had a tradition that Thayer did not know about and either way would have been unmoved by, which was that each year at Christmas, they would have a big party and they would make merry and they would drink lots and lots of eggnog.
Oh.
Yeah, so here's the thing. Thayer didn't care about that. He outlawed booze altogether. Now, the cadets, whether out of pure tradition or out of defiance for the general order, they went on and planned their big holiday blowout anyway. Yeah, that's right. And they imported quite a bit of swill from local pubs. So they smuggled alcohol onto campus so that they could make their eggnog. Well, it was certainly against policy. And here's what happened. The night of the party, they all had more than their fair share of eggnog. And Thayer came by and saw some students out reveling, and he warned them to disperse and sober up, and they did not take kindly to that, so they got a little bit rowdy. There were about 70 cadets that were involved in the riot. There were 2 officers that were assaulted, some windows were broken, and the North Barracks was completely destroyed. How about that?
Well, they were a little drunk.
Yeah, a bunch of those guys got court-martialed. Both Robert E. Lee and Jefferson Davis, Alyssa, famous Confederate generals, were involved in either the riot itself or the tribunal afterwards, I had heard.
Okay, here's a quick little words of advice here. Listen to the rules, or don't bring eggnog to your college.
That's right. You heard it here first from Alyssa. Don't bring eggnog to your college. I don't think, Alyssa, when I was in college, I ever saw anyone drink any eggnog.
Yeah, that's
not really a popular drink with the college set. I don't think that like Natural Light makes an eggnog.
Yeah, definitely.
Or Milwaukee's best eggnog.
Milwaukee.
So
where's Milwaukee?
Where's Milwaukee?
Yeah.
Wisconsin.
The cheese age.
So Liz, we were talking about the holiday party at West Point as a Christmas party where the tradition was to drink eggnog. The first printed evidence that we have of eggnog consumption specifically at the holidays comes from a 1793 edition of the Virginia Chronicle that references eggnog being consumed at a Christmas Eve party where the revelers got so wasted on eggnog, Alyssa, that as a drinking game, like people play beer pong and whatnot now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at this party, the partiers challenged each other to write a 4-verse poem that would make sense and rhyme while they were all under the influence of the eggnog. And one guy actually did it, and I read it, and it was pretty good. And it was mostly about peeing out all the eggnog that he just drank.
Oh.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Here's another fun story about Christmas time and eggnog.
Wait, I have a question.
Yes, dear.
Why is Christmas time spelled as one word?
I don't know. I think that's an affectation probably from something like Dickens, where we pick it up from an English spelling or iteration of the words.
Oh.
But it sounds nice, doesn't it? Christmas time. You say it all together like you're Bob Cratchit. Christmas time.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's 1900, Alyssa. There's an edition of Good Housekeeping magazine that is published. There's a story in it about a man who wakes up on Christmas morning. He is bent and intent on having his annual mug of eggnog. It's a thing that he does every Christmas in the morning as soon as he wakes up. He goes into the kitchen. His son runs into the kitchen and tells him that their house is on fire.
Oh my gosh. I have a story about this.
Oh, about
it's not
this
from personal experience.
You didn't light our house on fire?
No. So I was watching this video, and this little girl saw that their air fryer was on fire.
Oh.
And then the Frozen theme song started playing on the Alexa, like perfect timing. And she said, "Oh no, Dad's gonna kill me." And then the Frozen theme song started playing, and then she started running, and the dad picked it up with his bare hand because there was no fire extinguisher, and he threw it in the pool.
Oh my gosh. That is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Well, that's not at all what happened in this story, Liz, which is that the house was on fire. The son runs in to tell the father. The father, Liz, waves him off, sits down, ladles himself a mug of eggnog, drinks his eggnog, and then stands up, pats himself in the lap, and then goes to help put the fire out. He would not break from tradition, not even because the house was on fire.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Liz, it's the kind of thick, hearty, warming drink that you might want on a cold winter's night, especially if it has that whiskey or bourbon in it. There could be, like you said, it's spicy milk, warming spices like nutmeg in it used to embellish. And those flavors are associated with the holidays. And, around this time, they were usually only trotted out in December because they were expensive. So it was the thing you would save for when you were going to do your toasting. And of course, the cold air outside would act as a natural refrigerant. So you could just put this into a cask and set it out and it would stay cold, which was very nice. And by 1826, Alyssa, which coincidentally the same year as the Eggnog Riot, there was holiday advertising in newspapers, including eggnog in it. So now it's just an accepted part of the holidays. It's referenced in Christmas carols. There's a Run DMC Christmas carol where they talk about drinking eggnog. It's in TV specials, obviously. And of course, Christmas movies, Alyssa.
Oh, great.
Are you ready?
Are you ready for it?
Because my most beloved eggnog memory is not my own, but rather that of one Clark W. Griswold Jr., Alyssa, the holder of the World Land Speed Snow Saucer record and patriarch of the Griswold family, who uses eggnog in his house as a bit of an all-purpose holiday salve. He drinks it when he's relaxing with his family, when he's bewildered by his family, when he's exasperated by his family, and then, of course, when he is driven completely insane by his family. In the 1989 film National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, which is not just my favorite Christmas movie, but Alyssa, I think one of my favorite movies of all time. Like firmly top 10, possibly top 5.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Yes.
You like it, don't you?
Yes.
We watch it every year. We have gone to the movie theater to watch it multiple times.
Yeah.
And what do I do when we go to the movie theater to watch it?
You wear your sweatshirt.
I dress up like Clark. That's right. I have a holiday plaid shirt like the one that he wears in the film. I am wearing a holiday plaid shirt and a cardigan sweater right now to emulate one of my heroes. I have a parka that looks just like the parka that he wears in the film. And I also have the 90s era, new era script Chicago Bears snapback cap.
Ew, we don't like the Bears.
We don't like the Bears, but we love that hat. And I have 2 versions of it because they re-released one not too long ago. So I have the re-released version. And then I also have an original vintage version from the late 80s.
Right.
Liz, what do you know about the movie?
I know that the wife, what's the wife's name?
Ellen.
Ellen, yeah, she smokes.
She does, that's right. And her mother yells at her from across the house. She can tell when she's having a cigarette. That's right.
It's very bad.
It's very bad. That's correct. Liz, the movie, conceived of course, and written by sage Hollywood screenwriter John Hughes, that perpetual teenager. You know John Hughes, Liz. He's the writer-director of movies like The Breakfast Club, for example.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. It was adapted from his short story called Christmas 59 that ran in the December 1980 issue of National Lampoon magazine. That was about Christmas with his father and his extended family in 1959. It's a comedy, obviously, very heightened. But Liz, I think that what happens in Christmas Vacation is really what a good old-fashioned family Christmas should look like.
The cops coming to your house?
Well, maybe not
the uncle took the wife of the,
was the husband.
Boss?
The boss, yeah. Maybe not the kidnapping and the SWAT team. I mean, mostly...
And the chair catching on fire?
The chair catching on fire would be unfortunate. We did actually have a squirrel in our Christmas tree one time. I think we talked about this on the show last year.
Oh, yeah.
I'm mostly talking about, getting all the family together to be in one place at Christmas and relaxing and enjoying each other's company and going slightly nuts from things not going exactly the way that you've planned them out.
Well, that happens a lot.
I know. I really love that one calm moment before all heck breaks loose in this film. The anticipation that happens when, Rusty's sitting around watching TV and Clark is trying on his Santa Claus beard and Ellen's in the kitchen, and the daughter is upstairs. Audrey is upstairs, just reading a magazine, and then the doorbell rings, and they know that everybody's there, and they all look up very panicked. And the doorbell keeps ringing, but it gets lower and lower in the register and in pitch, like it's a death knell. It's just amazing.
Yeah.
What are some of your favorite parts of the movie, Alyssa, aside from Ellen getting caught smoking?
When the squirrel jumped out.
Oh yeah.
When the dude's hair caught on fire.
Uncle Lewis, that's right.
The old lady, singing the national anthem.
And Bethany, the voice of Betty Boop.
Betty Boop.
That's right.
Boopity doop.
That was close.
No, I just need the start. What's the start?
Boop boop be doop. That's it. That's the whole thing.
Don't you kind of miss that little bit of bliss when a hug or kiss I give ya?
Oh, very nice. I didn't know there was a song associated with that.
Baby, oh, ain't ya? Boop boop be doop.
Well, how would Betty Boop say the word quisp?
Quisp? Quisp? Quisp?
We're not bringing that back. That's terrible.
Quisp.
Liz.
Hold on. I gotta make sure I have it. Oh, I don't.
Alyssa, one of my most favorite parts of the film, because there are a lot of things in this movie that are unique items, and I recognize them all, and one of my favorites, obviously, is the glass moose mug that Clark uses to drink his eggnog. Now, that was a custom prop that was made for the film. It was based on the character Marty Moose that was the mascot for Wally World, which was the theme park that the Griswold family road trip to in the original Vacation film. Christmas Vacation was a sequel.
It is?
It is, that's right. It was the second in the series. Second in the series? Third in the series? It must have been the second.
I never knew
It must have been the third because there was European Vacation. My goodness, what am I thinking?
Hold on.
Yeah, European Vacation was 85, so this is the third in the series. Excuse me, I misspoke. Liz.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, how about that? You didn't know that, did you?
No, wait. Oh my gosh.
You didn't know there were others.
Dad, you never told me there were others.
Well, we never really needed to watch them because this one is the best.
Playing.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's going to be playing.
That's in New Brunswick.
Well, it's going to be at our local theater, I think, starting next week, so we'll go check it out again. Although Chase already told me that he does not want to go see it in the movie theater this year.
Kind of.
Although I did just take him to go see Godzilla -1, and it was awesome.
All in Japanese.
And he loved it, even though it was Japanese subtitled in English. He watched the whole movie. No complaints. It's awesome.
That's crazy.
Liz, speaking of awesome, we have a pair of moose mugs.
Oh, yeah, we do.
They are right here.
These are big.
These are small.
What?
I mean, they're large, but the actual...
How much were these?
How much they hold? I'm not going to tell you how much these weigh. How much liquid they actually hold is small. This is like maybe a 4 or 6 ounce portion in these mugs. And we are about to use them to drink our own eggnog.
They have some on Temu.
Of course they do. Right here on this show list. Can you think of any other unique items from the movie? Any props or things that you remember from the movie, aside from the moose mugs?
Look, I can pick its nose.
Gross.
No.
I mean, there are a lot of
the
things.
Swimming pool.
Yeah, well, yeah, the actual swimming pool. I'm talking about, there are a lot of things in this movie list that capture, in a way, the weird physicality of design in the 80s and 90s. Because this was in 89, so it's like right on the cusp. There's that model of the swimming pool that Clark has made that he sits on his desk and he flicks the diving board. That was so cool. I always wanted one of them. He's sort of like fiddling with it when he's concerned he's not going to get his Christmas bonus. There is the Looney Tunes Tasmanian Devil mug that he drinks his coffee out of at work. Funny, I was at work today, Liz, and I was walking through the hallways and I was talking to a guy and we were talking about this movie and he said in his Amazon cart right now is one of those Tasmanian Devil mugs that he wants to get for his wife for Christmas because she loves this movie so much. And he also told me that he used to have a whole collection of those when he was a kid. And then I was talking about how we used to have a collection of the Garfield mugs from McDonald's that had like little Garfield comics on the side of them. They were painted on the side. And we used to, that was like the only cup that I drank out of when we were at my grandma's house. And they had lead and cadmium based paints on them. So I was drinking lead out of McDonald's cups for a long time.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's not good. What else? Oh, Clark has those weird dinosaur pajamas that he wears.
Oh yeah.
I haven't been able to find a good pair of those online. There's like a cheap knockoff.
You should not get those.
Oh, I would 100% wear them. Well, how would you feel if I got those dinosaur pajamas and then I wore them to pick you up from school one day? Would that be all right?
No. You're not. No, stop it.
Listen.
And you don't get out of the car.
I mean,
and you wouldn't even do that.
I guess I could. I could walk into the school and ask them to page you on the announcements and come to the office, and then I could stand in the hallway.
Well, then you'd be embarrassing yourself. I would laugh at you.
Yeah, you probably would laugh at that, actually. You wouldn't be embarrassed by it. They also, Lisa, they have
Unless I was walking with my friends, then that.
They have that advent calendar, that big, like, it's like a big mansion, and on each day they open up a window or a door, and there's a little scene inside. That thing is amazing. I always wanted one of those. You can buy those online now, but they're very, very expensive, like hundreds of dollars. And of course, Clark wears his custom 00 Chicago Blackhawks hockey jersey.
You have that?
I do have one of those. I wear that to my office holiday party every year. Liz, I'm becoming Clark Griswold, I think.
I think you
are. And that's, there's something to that, I think, as we roll into the Christmas holiday list officially. It was particularly heartbreaking for me to find out that Chevy Chase, the actor who plays Clark and who I've been a fan of ever since I watched old Saturday Night Live episodes when I was a child, is a bit of a jerk in real life, apparently. I don't know him, obviously. I'm being kind here, too. The people that work with him and know him think that he's quite a curmudgeon.
He kind of... I feel like he looks like he's a jerk.
Well, I mean, he's just an old guy now, and he's had a very long and storied career, and he's a very fine actor. And you can tell because Clark Griswold is not at all like Chevy Chase the man, as far as I know. And that is the magic of acting, of course. There is that scene in the movie when Clark's coworker Bill calls him the last true family man. You remember that part? Well, I do, because it's a scene that I think about a lot at Christmas time, which is obviously to me about friends and family and kinship and tradition and all the ways that we can be better people, both to ourselves and others at this time of the year and all year long. And so I don't think Clark is the last true family man, Alyssa. I think there are more of us out there, and thinking about that is one of my favorite parts of the holiday season.
Really?
And Alyssa.
Yeah.
It's now time for one of my favorite parts of this show.
Alyssa reads the ingredients.
Alyssa reads the ingredients. Liz, we have here, because we've already talked about the list of ingredients. Yeah, the list of ingredients that are in just homemade eggnog. What's in store-bought eggnog, Liz? If you go out to the store, you go into the freezer section or the refrigerated section, you grab a carton of eggnog. What's in it?
Milk, cream, high fructose corn syrup, sugar, corn syrup, egg yolks, natural and artificial flavors, spice. Hello, spice.
Uh-huh.
Hear that? Spice.
That's right.
S-P-I-C-E. Fat-free milk, guar gum, carrageenan, mono and diglycerides, annatto and turmeric color, salt and disodium phosphate.
Yeah, so for the most part, it's still the same stuff. It's milk and cream and sugar and eggs, but then there's also a bunch of, other stuff that you put in there to make it shelf stable. So Liz, it's time. Let's get to the rules of the game. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Junk Feud is a culinary clash to see which treat will be crowned the undisputed champion of snacks. It's a king of the mountain style battle in which the reigning champ takes on a new challenger each week to see which snack reigns supreme. And Alyssa, the reigning defending undisputed champion of holiday snacks, the holder of the Kringle Cup, is
chocolate chip cookies.
All hail the once and future king. And honestly, Alyssa, R.I.P. to all comers, because this is it. This is the ultimate weapon of snackdom, the Death Star of treats. This is a fresh baked, homemade chocolate chip cookies. So fingers up, good luck now and forever to all future challengers, because the Thanos of junk food has arrived.
Yeah.
Chocolate chip cookies are inevitable. So with that, let's introduce our challenger. Today we are trying
eggnog.
Eggnog, that's right. I talked about store-bought eggnog. I researched as many sites as I could that did reviews of all the different types of store-bought eggnogs. The general consensus was that Southern Comfort brand eggnog from the supermarket is about the best that you can get in a carton in your local grocer's refrigerator. So that's what we have here today. But wait, Alyssa.
Oh my gosh.
What's that?
Hey, look, Ma, we made it again.
That's right, Liz. I was not content just to try the store-bought stuff because I had heard some complaints when I was reading these reviews that it's not a very accurate representation of what the holiday treat, of what eggnog can truly be, Liz. So also by law, prepackaged eggnog only has to be 1% egg. So what you buy in the store is mostly just like sweet milk, and it has like a tiny little bit of egg in it just to get around the food laws.
That's crusty.
Yeah, so we made our own today. We made eggnog for the very first time.
We did?
Well, I did. You were playing Fortnite.
And I got a victory.
Victory Royale, that's right. So I used a very well-regarded recipe from Alton Brown, who we mentioned before on the show. I cooked it up in this very kitchen on this very day, and this was not an official, hey, look, Ma, we made it, because your mom, refused to partake. She saw me whisking egg whites into this drink and said, I will pass, and then she made a throw-up face, and then she walked away.
How can you just drink egg?
Well, I actually did cook this eggnog, so it is completely homogenized and pasteurized.
Okay, good, because I'm not trying to get salmonella up in here.
You have a 0.04% chance of contracting salmonella from a United States large grocery store egg. So it's pretty low odds.
Cookie dough.
That was, remember, mostly because of the flour, the untreated flour.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Well, Alyssa.
Yeah.
It's finally time. It's crunch time.
Crunch time.
We rate our snacks using a tier list from sprinkles to fun dip.
Sprinkles to fun dip.
So snacks can be graded A, B, C, D, or F with the very best treats earning the elusive S tier ranking. The following contest is scheduled for one serving.
One serving.
It is for the undisputed championship of junk food. Liz, what do you want to try first? You want to try the store-bought eggnog or our homemade?
Store.
All right, so this is, I've got here a carton. It's, what is that, a half gallon?
It's thick.
A quart? It's a Thack boy, you're saying?
She's a yacht.
Hey! Spoiler alert.
Oh, Dad.
Yeah.
Why is it yellow?
Because it has egg yolks in it.
Oh.
So anyway.
Is this one yellow?
I don't know. You've got your moose mug there. You've shaken it well.
It is yellow.
It's not like bright yellow. It's, I would say, soft tan.
It's chicken. Oh.
It's not chicken yellow. Remember, this is just melted ice cream, so think of it that way. The Southern Comfort.
Why'd you get the non-out?
Excuse me. Oh, you're pouring yourself a whole glass.
Why is there chunks in it? It looks like...
There's not chunks. Those
it looks
bubbles.
like potato leek.
It does look like Alton Brown's potato leek soup. That's true. I'm going to pour like half of the mug here because we're just going to taste this.
Can we trade? I shouldn't afford that much.
This is fine. So I've got a full moose mug of eggnog here. Again, as I tried to allude to earlier, I'm looking at the package. It's a black carton. There is a glass mug on the front. It says traditional eggnog, ultra pasteurized,
how do I
non-alcoholic. Just like that.
This way?
Yep. And the glass of eggnog on the front has a dusting of what look to be warming spices like nutmeg on the front.
It tastes like I'm drinking a cold candle wax.
Cold candle wax, you say? This asks you to mix 1 quart of eggnog with 1 cup of Southern Comfort liquor and garnish with a cinnamon stick. We will not be doing that because Southern Comfort is disgusting, first of all. But a half cup of this is 190 calories, Liz. Half cup. Good grief. Anyway, here it goes. Let's see. First, I want to know what it smells like.
It smells dead.
You're kissing the moose on the snout. Liz, I actually get a little bit of herbaceousness from this, and I think that's from the nutmeg, which has sort of a floral, grassy, herby note almost. Good grief, this is thick. It's not great.
It's not.
It is just spicy milk, like you said. It's very thick, probably from the carrageenan and the guar gum as thickeners. It's very nutmeggy, which I like. I do put nutmeg into some dishes, like your mom makes a very nice your mom butternut squash soup that has nutmeg in it. And that's kind of what this tastes like. It's very sweet. It is like melted ice cream if melted ice cream was vanilla and nutmeg flavored. What do you think about that?
No.
You're not crazy about it. I think.
Well, I don't like.
Yeah, if you don't like nutmeg, you're not going to like this because this is very nutmeggy. I think we've said that like so many times, but that's the predominant flavor of this. It's growing on me a little bit. It is like a very thin, very cold milkshake almost, you know? But you're making boo-boo face for sure. Your feelings about this from before at Ella's house. Shout out to Ella. Is this just spicy milk like the kind you had there? Yeah. This would be, I hesitate to say improved, but it would be understandable to see why people would want to dump a ton of whiskey into this. Because it's kind of hard to get down. And if you drank like 3 of these and couldn't taste them after the first one, I could understand how that would happen. You just chug the rest of yours, but you're holding your nose.
I needed to get the rest out of it so I could try that.
Yeah, so we're going to try our homemade version now. You're cleansing your palate with a little bit of water. All right, so we're going to reload. We're going to reload our moose mugs here. Well, I mean, the good news is now for the rest of the holiday season, I've got, most of a quart of eggnog left over.
This probably won't be touched again.
I don't know. I think like once a year, your mom will have a cup of eggnog at Christmas time. So now this is our homemade eggnog, and it is nowhere near as thick. It is still thick, but it's not.
Don't fill mine like not a lot.
There you go. Now I made this, Alyssa, by cooking some milk and cream together and then tempering the hot milk and cream, which were flavored with eggnog. Which were flavored with nutmeg.
I don't like it.
You're making a terrible face.
It tastes like sour milk.
It tastes like sour milk? Yeah. No way. I tempered those into some egg yolks with sugar and then mixed in, once it was chilled, some whipped egg whites, like a meringue almost. Okay, now this is what I imagine that actual eggnog tastes like, which is slightly spicy, slightly thickened milk with like a hint of egginess, even though there's a lot of egg in this. It's custard, basically. It has that bit of nutmeggy spiciness. It smells and tastes a lot like tapioca, actually, Alyssa, which I don't think you've ever had. But that your grandfather calls the food of the gods, tapioca. Okay, so this is, like you said, slightly thick, slightly spicy milk. It's just custard. This is custard that you drink. It's melted ice cream. I think our homemade one would have been a little bit better if we put a little bit of vanilla in it, actually. I don't know. Let's get to the bliss point. You hated this, didn't you?
Yeah.
You tried real hard, though. I mean, you're making faces. You are holding your nose while you were drinking it, shaking your head. You really did not like this. Mm-mm. What are your grades for Southern Comfort store-bought eggnog and our homemade eggnog?
Mm-mm. See, I don't want to be rude.
Well, you don't have to worry about being rude to me. I'm the one that made it, and I'm asking you for your impartial judgment.
Well, don't make it again.
You caught me in the middle of a water palate cleanser there, and I almost spit it on the keyboard.
I'm sorry.
Don't make it again is the feedback.
I'm giving them both an F.
That's not very giving, is it?
No.
F for homemade eggnog, F for store-bought eggnog. I'm not going to be that unkind.
Oh, yes.
I'm going to say D+, the gentleman's F for both. I understand why this is a tradition, but I don't get it and I don't enjoy it. Eggnog sucks. And I'm happy if other people enjoy it, but it's not for me. I'll maybe have one cup of eggnog a year and I'll suffer through it. And I hope that you like it. I wish nothing but the best for you. But good grief, is this not for me? And I just handed you a chocolate chip cookie as your reward for suffering through this list. And I should say, your winner and still reigning, defending, undisputed champion of holiday snacks, the holder of the Kringle Cup until next year, and probably forever, chocolate chip cookies. Godspeed. Liz, while you're powering through that cookie there, do we have an Oreo rule this week?
No.
No, but we are looking forward to whatever Oreo dreams up or re-releases in the new year, so that'll be exciting. Unless we do have to ask ourselves a very important question, one we ask each week on this show. Will it deep fry? Can you deep fry this week's snack? And?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, yes, you can, in fact, deep fry eggnog. And many have, because eggnog itself is sort of like a custard or like a very thin batter. You can make it into any number of sweet treats and then drop them in hot oil. There are fried eggnog donuts, these things called boozy bites, which are just sort of like a gelatinized bit of eggnog with some alcohol that you can fry. There are nog nuggets. There's even eggnog chicken and waffles. I think that would probably be pretty good. Like using eggnog as a batter for waffles, I think would work pretty well. It's already eggy and buttery, and that's most of what we want in a deep fried treat after all. So I might try an eggnog waffle list. I might have to add that to our holiday rotation.
All right, here we go.
Are you ready? It's time to... Oh, you're excited for this one, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's time, Alyssa, to check out the back of the box, a weekly segment where we play a little game. Would you like to play a game?
Yes.
This week's segment is Alyssa Explains It All. On Alyssa Explains It All, Alyssa, a teenager, explains to me, an old person, an item of youth culture. And Liz, this is not directly holiday themed, but I thought it would be a nice way for us to cap off the holiday season with a word that I keep hearing over and over and over again. So this week on Alyssa Explains It All, you just said it. The word is gyat.
Gyat.
Gyat. Liz, I heard that word recently. It's not a word I'd ever heard before. It was directed at me in a most unusual way, Alyssa, because I was accused of sticking out my gyat for the Rizzler. Now, I don't know what any of that means, as you giggle in the corner, but I have an idea, Alyssa.
Yes.
Here's a word I used earlier, and you have to tell me what this word means, Liz. The word is portmanteau. Do you know what a portmanteau is?
No.
Well, it's a suitcase, but do you know what else it is? A portmanteau is a new word that is made by blending the sounds from two or more old existing words together. Do you know any portmanteaus?
Motel.
Yeah, motel is probably the most popular, and it's motor and hotel. Brunch, Alyssa, breakfast and lunch smushed together. Here's a couple that are applicable to this show. Hangry and podcast, Alyssa, is also a portmanteau from iPod and broadcast.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So here's what I think. I think the word gyat is a portmanteau, Liz. And I think it's because kids these days, allow me to get on my old guy soapbox here, kids these days are obsessed with opulence. Do you know what opulence is?
No.
It's like luxury, Alyssa. Your generation is very lucky because you're used to a culture of abundance that simply did not exist when I or previous generations were little, Liz. The other day, off air, we were talking about Charles Dickens. Remember, in the car?
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about the era in which he wrote A Christmas Carol, which is coincidentally where most of our modern Christmas traditions come from. And we were talking about how that era, in London particularly, was very dark and cold and dirty and diseased, and many people died before reaching adulthood. And if you got sick, that was just it. You mostly just did not get better. There wasn't real medicine.
Yeah.
So it was an awful time by many measures, which is why the optimism and good cheer embodied by Dickens' classic A Christmas Carol is so meaningful, and why we try to have such a rosy outlook at Christmas time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Liz, for you and your cohort, there is not much that's like that, because you are incredibly fortunate. And that's why I think the word gyat means a giant yacht. It's a portmanteau of giant and yacht. Gyat.
Yes.
Am I right? It's like a really big boat.
It's a really big something.
A really big boat. It's like the most egregious display of obstreperous wealth that's imaginable, like a Jeff Bezos level ship on the water. Remember, we said Little Yachty's nickname was Small Boat?
Yeah.
Well, this is a big boat, a giant yacht, a gyat. So listen, when somebody tells you that you've got a gyat, that means you've got something that's big and expansive and ostentatious, and that you can be proud of it and you really want to show it off. It's like a reference to a very luxurious lifestyle. So if you get a new big screen TV, you might be like, hey, check out this big old gyat I've got in the living room. Is that right? You'd be like, hey guys, you want to play Xbox on my gyat? Like that? No? Or if you get a new car, you can be like, hey, look how fast my gyat can go. Is that right? So here's the thing, listen. Now that you're crying again. So now that I know what this word means, a giant yacht. That's a real tear right there. So this is the third time you've cried on this show.
I read something that if you cry first out of your right eye, it's a happy tear, and first out of your left eye, it's a sad tear.
Oh, wow. Is that true?
I don't know, but I think it might be.
Well, that was a right eye tear for you. So here's the thing. You know how we say on this show that this is the world's yeetest podcast? Well, I'm willing to go on a limb now and say that this is also the gyattiest show on earth. What do you think about that? Am I right? The world's yeetest podcast, the gyattiest show on earth.
Okay.
So am I right? Is that all right?
No.
I got it right? No? No, I thought I nailed that one.
Uh-huh.
Are you going to tell me or no?
Yeah. So you're right about our generation, and this generation is quite the generation to be in.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's full of a lot of interesting people and
I
things
agree.
and stuff. And so when someone says gyat, they're meaning God.
You can't say that on this show.
Gosh dang. So they're like, oh dang girl, you've got a gyat.
What?
So
yeah, a big boat, right?
So no, gyat means you got a dump truck in the back.
A dump? What? A what?
You've got a big butt.
A big butt,
You've
not
got
a big boat.
Big booty.
Oh, I thought it was a big boat, not a big butt.
No.
It's a big butt?
Mm-hmm.
So when I say we're the gyattiest show on earth, that means we have the podcast with the biggest butt?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Sticking at your yacht.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, Alyssa, we're sticking out our gyat for this podcast because this show should reach you in excellent condition, satisfaction guaranteed, or your money back. If you've got a question for us, you can write to the address on the label. That's junkfeudpod@gmail.com. Liz.
Yes.
Any final thoughts before we go away for the holiday season?
Well, Dad, do you have a gyat?
I'm reminded of that scene from Pee-wee's Big Adventure when Pee-wee says, "What's your big butt, Simone?"
Oh, okay.
That's funny. Liz,
Yes.
on a serious note.
No, do you have a gyat?
Yeah, sure. It's out in the driveway.
Your gyat's in the driveway.
From all of us here at Junk Feud to all of you out there at home, happy holidays and a very Merry Christmas. We wish you nothing but the best in the coming new year.
Yes.
And Alyssa.
Yeah.
This podcast is contained in your recommended daily allowance of fun. For more, go to X, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, or wherever you choose to be social, and find us at JunkFeudPod. You can watch fun-sized reviews on YouTube, buy our merch on TeePublic, and don't forget to catch all the snaction each and every week wherever you listen to podcasts. Until we see you again, for Alyssa, I'm Mike.
Hasta lasagna.
Don't get any on ya.
Bye. Merry Christmas.